Thank you very much. So I'm going to cheat a little bit today, and I've had some amazing videos done for me by Mike earlier on this year, and I'm actually going to play you a couple of those because I actually thought it's quite a nice little testimonial of the work that he can do, but also explain some of the services that I do. So kind of pulling it all together.
Hi, Josh.
So I'll chat a little bit about me and then I'll play you a couple of videos which hopefully will work, but we'll go with that. Clara, Downton Financial Services. A little bit about us. It's me and Shannon, and these are sort of a few photos of us sort of working together. She's also my sister-in-law. So we have a really great working relationship and really kind of make sure that what we do seamlessly works with clients, sort of handled between us and working together. So hopefully it's a nice business to interact with. So we both live in Bishop Stortford. Shannon's worked for me for nearly 5 years, which I can't quite believe it's been that long now. And Downton Mortgages have been in existence for nearly 7 years. Shannon does the insurance side and I look after the mortgages. So very much it's kind of a teamwork that kind of hopefully seamlessly works with clients, giving them the full sort of protection of having the mortgage there, but also know that they have the full back if anything doesn't go so well for them. So that's a little bit about us. With regard to the business, our process generally is an initial call to make sure that I really understand what's needed. I've had this conversation in the 60 seconds before, that really a lot of people approach me and I just want a mortgage, and it's not that straightforward. There's a lot of different things that can influence what is possible, what's the best thing to do. So for me, it's really about understanding, what are their priorities, what are their goals, what do they want to do, and how do they see their future going? Because that really does influence what the right mortgage is for them. And a lot of people say, can you get hold of the market kind of thing? Well, yes, is the short answer to that. There are certain ones that I am restricted from. A lot of lenders are, a lot of advisors are, because certain lenders will only deal direct or things like that. But fundamentally, if it's the right thing for the client, then generally I can access that lender. And I forget the latest sort of number on my panel, but it's something around about 72 lenders. And generally, there's a solution out there for most people. So that's kind of the process. We collect all the documents up front. So I'll have the conversation, understand what your income is, what your debts are, all the sort of high-level information, and then that's how I know what information I need from you. And then I give you all that information, and I get it so that it's up front, and then I can really work through all of the different options that may apply for you, and really make sure that the solution I come back with makes sense to your situation. And then, yes, it's talking about those, working through your preferences. Because sometimes it can be, well, actually, we thought about this. Would this be a solution that would make sense for you? So it's not just, okay, this is what you said you wanted, here's an answer. It's, okay, this is what you told me is going on. This is the solutions that I think best solve that, what works best for you, and having that discussion to really make sure that the solution makes sense. So that's our sort of processes really. With regard to the products that we do, combination of different things on the mortgages side. So I can work with all different types of clients, from your first-time buyers to your retirees. And I had a conversation recently with a client, and we were talking about, does he want a retirement interest-only mortgage because he is retired and it is an option for him, or did he actually still want a repayment mortgage? Because we could take him out a mortgage to age 80, which would give him a 19-year term, and repaying it would only be an extra £100 every month. So actually, did he want to just repay the mortgage over the next 19 years and not end up with a mortgage? And he could not believe that that was an option. But that's what I mean. It's about really making sure that all the options are understood and then it's an educated decision for the client. I can do buy-to-lets in individual or limited company names, and then there's the equity release that I've just mentioned. Then, oh, hang on. I thought I was going to say about insurances, so I'll do that quickly now. The other aspect is the insurances. We can do them for people within a limited company, so there's certain insurance you can have as a limited company director. Also the personal insurances, making sure you cover your income, the actual mortgage debt, all those different aspects. And what makes sense, again, is very individual. So Shannon will talk through all of the different options of what is available and really discuss what your priorities are, what your needs are, and what makes sense to you. So that's the kind of picture of the different products that we work with. So we will now see if this will work. This is a little video that I worked with Mike to put together to just give a little bit more information about mortgages for over 55, which is kind of where you can start accessing some of the what's deemed later life mortgages. So let's see if this works. Volume. Hang on. Pause it again. That'll be right. Let's try again.
Volume on the laptop as well.
And on the laptop.
When the plans for time, how much your estate and pension pay, and what delegates you have available. What's more, being over 55 can also work in your favour. If you had a mortgage most of your life, you might have a longer borrowing history and a bit longer equity in your home. So, if you're aged over 55 and frustrated by the lack of options which seem to be available to you, or just interested in chatting through potential mortgage options, drop me a line at info@downtonmortgages.co.uk or fill out the contact form on our website at www.downtonmortgages.co.uk.
I think you got most of it there. Sorry for the sound issues at the start. But it does also give an indication of how he worked with the different shops with us and all the rest of it. So a little bit of a testimonial there for mine. I do have one more that I wanted to share with you. If this works as well, bear with me. We also have Shannon talking about the process for insurances. So let me see if this one works a little better.
It's important to have peace of mind that no matter what life throws your way, you and your family won't be left struggling financially. That's why personal insurance should always feature in your financial planning, especially if you have a mortgage or financial dependent. But with so many different policies to choose from, it can be hard to know if you're purchasing the right thing, which is where I come in. We're here to help you find the right mix of cover to suit your needs and your budget, and we'll also take care of the full application process for you. If you want to know if personal insurance is something you should be considering, then drop me a line at info@downtonmortgages.co.uk or fill out the contact form on our website at www.downtonmortgages.co.uk.
So that's the fundamentals of what I wanted to cover today. Hopefully that's given a little bit of an insight into us as a company and also about some of the things that we can do. We do have more videos and things like that on the website if anyone's interested in lots more information. But as always, here to answer any questions. And very much I'd encourage, if you know anyone who's just unsure as to whether they may have an option, whether there's things that they have been told, oh, you won't get a mortgage, all those kind of conversations, that to me is, I think there must be a solution kind of thing. So very much challenge me, very happy to see what we can do and see if we can find a solution for you or anybody you know who feels that they're in a hole and don't know quite how to get out. So that's Clara Downton, Downton Mortgages and Financial Services. Very happy to help with you all, and I will finish Live round. Thank you very much. Any questions?
Oh, like all kids, 24, if you did university, you did a first or second job after them, she's not in a position to buy a house at the moment, which is paying like a lot of ridiculous amounts of rent she's going to be. She wants to buy in the future. When's a good time for her to talk to you so people start thinking ahead, like a year ahead or too much ahead, or whatever her plans are?
My honest answer to people is I think you should have the conversation very early with me, because actually it helps people to understand what their options are. One of my friends, I've been talking to them for a while, and we've been working, he has some debts. Okay, well, what is the situation? If he still has the debts, what to borrow? What kind of deposit can you do? There's some lenders now which will do only a £5,000 mortgage. And actually that's quite doable for some people, that actually they can do that. And so then what you need to understand is, okay, well, what is my borrowing potential? What does that look like on a monthly basis? How does that compare to the rent that I'm paying? So actually, the earlier you start, the more you understand what those different variables are, then actually you can decide, Exactly. I've had people come to me saying, oh, I want to do this in a year's time. We've run through the numbers. And they're like, I can do this now. It's like, well, then do you want to start looking? And then they can choose whether they do or not. But I feel that if you have the information, you can then decide. Whereas if you don't know what you can do, where do you start? So I would say any time.
Right, thank you.
I mentioned about £5,000 mortgage. Could you get a £10,000 mortgage on a buy-to-let?
You can no is the short answer, unless you are starting to get to a position where you can get more reasonably priced sort of 20% deposit mortgages. So obviously if it was a low enough value, yes, you could, but I think you'd probably struggle to get one that would fit within that. But at the same time, actually, it wasn't that long ago where you had to have 25% to do a buy-to-let, and now actually 20% is becoming far more commonplace and normal kind of thing. So there are a lot more options than there were in the past, but no, you'd probably be unlikely to.
Thank you.
No worries.
You use the acronym PT, right?
Yes. Sorry, I don't like acronyms generally, so my apologies on that. PT is product transfer. So what it means is, rather than doing a remortgage where you're changing from the lender you've got at the moment to a new lender, you're staying with your existing lender and you are just changing the rate that you have with them. And what that means is that they don't do all the checks and all the rest of it. So a lot of times people sort of panic. They're like, oh, my circumstances have changed. If I go to the bank now, they're going to turn me down. Generally, most lenders will do no checks where there is just a product transfer. So a lot of people are there panicking, oh, I don't know what I'm going to do. Actually, most situations, I won't say all because there are the odd exception here and there, but I would say 99% of the time, if you want to, you can just do a product transfer with your existing lender. So it's always something that I consider, because again, as I said, I don't actually charge a fee for that. And what I do is I look at all the options. Okay, what would a remortgage lender say? And then I work out the savings, taking into consideration my fee. So I would never charge people extra to do it. If actually the cheapest thing to do overall is to do a product transfer, that's what I recommend, and that's what I will do for them. But also, with regard to a product transfer, you can often change it. So if rates improve, then I can cancel that and get a new rate for the client. If it gets worse, then the client knows they're locked in with the worst case scenario. So at the moment, when rates have been all over the place, I've been doing an awful lot of that, and the clients will just get an email from me saying, things have changed, do you want me to do something? And otherwise they know they can just forget about it and it will go live. Had a client who, I called her up just before all the rates went haywire in March, and said, I think you should lock in now. There's a little bit of a penalty if you do it, but I think you should do something right now. So she said, okay, fine, we did it. I spoke to her last week because it was about to go live, and she said, how are we looking? I was like, yes, you're 0.8% more now if you locked in than what we got for you 3 months ago. So yes, you are definitely worth paying that small penalty to get that rate, which is significantly different to what we are right now. And she was really glad that we'd done that at that time. So it's all those kind of things that I am there looking at for people. Sorry, that was a very long answer, but I think it gives a lot of information.
And the product transfer, does that also apply when you're like changing house or moving to a new house?
So when you change to a new house, it's called porting. They do usually look at affordability more when you port than they do with the product transfer. Although there are some circumstances where even if in theory it's not affordable, if you're not taking additional funding, they may still let you do it if you've proven that you can pay it and all the rest of it. But yeah, porting is where you've got an existing mortgage, you may have a penalty that you would have to pay on it, and so you literally move that mortgage from one property to another, potentially taking what's called further advance additional funds in order to supplement the difference if you've got a bigger house you're buying or things like that.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Clara, thank you very, very much indeed.
Pleasure.
Excellent presentation, and we all know where we need to go. Thank you
Brilliant.
very much indeed. Well done.